Hi and welcome. My name is Ryan O'Connell and I'll be your trainer in this video, Azure Cost Control. In this training session we are going to discuss what is Azure Cost Control, set up a budget, set up a cost alert and do a basic review. So what is Azure Cost Control? Azure Cost Management and Billing is a suite of tools provided by Microsoft that help you analyze, manage and optimize the costs of your workloads. To get your head around cost control, think of your Azure workloads like the lights in your room or the lights in your house. When you leave to go out for the day, are you leaving the lights on? Could you use different bulbs to be more efficient to help reduce costs of your monthly energy bill? Do you have more lights in one room that are needed? To create and manage budgets, you must have contributor permissions. With Azure products and services, you pay only for what you use. Remember, keep that in mind. More on Azure Cost Control. Azure Cost Management has alert features. Alerts are generated when consumption reaches a threshold. If you're not monitoring your spending, you don't know what to save. Budgets and cost management help you plan for and drive the organization accountability. Budget resets automatically at the end of a period, monthly, quarterly, or annually, and for the same budget amount when you have selected an expiration date in the future. To learn more about Microsoft's budgets and billing and cost management, I would encourage you to go to the Microsoft website and follow the link below, and that'll give you some really great info. Again, some cost-saving tips. Shut down resources that you are not using. Identify idle virtual machines, express route circuits, and other resources with Advisor and shut them down and help reduce your costs. Configure auto-scaling. Save by dynamically allocating and deallocating resources to match your needs. For example, you may have a high workload and auto scaling will allow you to add another server automatically, and as that workload reduces, so does the auto scaling reduce and takes you back to one server. Again, buying reserved instances can save you up to 72% over pay-as-you-go pricing on Azure services when you prepay for 1 or 3 year term with a reservation pricing. So that may be something you will want to look at as well to help reduce your costs. Again, really important, right size resources. Find underutilized resources with Advisor. Get recommendations on how to reduce spending by reconfiguring or consolidating them. Set up budget and alerts. Create and manage budgets from Azure services you subscribe to, and monitor your organization's cloud spending with Azure Cost Management. Again, if you're not managing these services, you may not be able to know where to cut costs or where to increase costs. Again, Azure budgets, things you need to know. Once you create your budget, you cannot change the reset period, you cannot change the expiration date, and you cannot change the creation date, and you cannot change the name of the budget. What can you do once the budget's created? Well, you can change the amount you want to spend. You can create new budgets and alerts. You can delete the budgets using PowerShell, and you can set thresholds to suit your requirements. Remember, the owner can create, modify, and delete budgets for a subscription. So let's dive into the portal and get our hands dirty and get an overview of how to create our first budget. Hi, as you can see, I've logged into the portal. In order to create our budget and our alerts, click Cost Management from the Azure services, or Cost Management from the Azure left-hand side pane, or in the search pane you can just type in Cost and select Cost Management and Billing. Select Cost Management, and of course in our Cost Management we come down to Budgets. Select Budgets. As you can see, I have a training budget already, but let's go and add a new budget, and I'll give this budget a name. I'll call it Learning Budget. I'll say that it's going to be billed every month. I'm going to say it's for this year only, and I'm going to go and give it an amount of $15. This can be whatever amount you feel like giving it. I'll go next, and of course we'll create an alert. So I can say when the budget reaches 50%, alert me again when I'm at 75%, and alert me again when I'm at 100%. And what we need to do now is go ahead and assign an email address to that budget. So when we get an alert, it can send us an email saying, look, you've overspent your budget, or hey, you're underneath your budget. But not only that, it also gives you an invoice as well, which is great. Click create, and this will go ahead and validate and create your budget for you. And if I click on the learning budget, you'll notice I don't have anything, because it can take anywhere from 8 to 48 hours for the budget to start kicking in and accumulating and giving you some information there. If I click edit budget, you'll notice because I've created my budget, I can't change the name, I can't change the reset period or creation date or expiration date. I can, however, go ahead and add the amount or change the amount, but I can't change any of this info. It's all grayed out. If you want to change this info, you have to delete your budget and recreate it again. I can go into the alerts and modify the alerts again by scrolling down here and adding some more information, and then of course clicking save. That'll save that alert as well. So I'm going to go into a budget that I've already created so we can see some information. So I'm going into my training budget, and of course again the same thing with this training budget. If I click edit, you'll notice I can't change much information at all. I can go ahead and change the alerts or change the budget amount. I would have to again delete that budget in order to get more information. Again, if I click on cost management and I come down into my cost management, I can do a cost analysis, and this will do a cost analysis on my budgets that I have, or a cost analysis on a particular budget. And as you can see there, it'll go through and generate some information for us, and we can use this information to better manage our costs. Again, I can scroll down and have a look at the cost alerts as well. If there's any alerts, will display if I've gone over my budget. Obviously I haven't, so I don't have any alerts. We've got advisor recommendations should we go over our costs, or we need to get more information, or Azure needs to advise us on other bits and pieces. Of course, we've got diagnostic and solve problems, so we can go in here and troubleshoot some of our cost management issues that we may have. We can also grant access to various users or groups that can go ahead and manage our cost and billing. Of course, we can do a whole training series on cost management. If I go to reservations, you will notice that I don't have any reservations, but I can go and click add and buy those reserved instances for a year. That will bring my Azure costs down at the end of the day. If I go back into cost management, I can go into billing scopes, and again this will give me some more information about my billing scopes. I can go to properties, I can go to payment methods. If I click on invoices, this will tell me about what invoices are due and how much I've spent in the last month. So I'm going to click download, and of course you can prepare usage file for download for a CSV if you wanted to, or you could download it as a PDF. I'm going to click download it as a PDF, and that's going to download for us. And I'm going to go ahead and open up this PDF, and as you can see, it gives me information who it's being billed to, what my costs are, and I can go through and see what my Azure subscription is costing me, and I can either modify resources, add resources, delete resources in order to reduce my costs or increase my costs as I see fit. Again, if I move over into my email, I would get an email saying please review your statement. It gets you'll get this email every month, but the nice thing about this as well, it'll also email you an alert if you have exceeded your budget threshold. I know a lot of you know how to create budgets already, and a lot of you know how to do this. Again, going into cost management, clicking on budgets. If you wanted to delete a budget, it's pretty simple. We just click the budget we want to delete and select delete budget and say yes, and that would delete that budget. Going back into cost management, going back into budgets, we'll notice our budget has been deleted, and we'll get a notification here, and we can see that our budget was created or deleted, or whatever the case may be. So I hope this gives you an understanding of how to use budgets, how to create your first budget, how to set it up in Azure, and how to look for your alerts. Again, this is just a basic video giving you a solid foundation on how to get going with your first budget and creating your first alert. I would suggest that you go to the Microsoft website and do more research, as they have a lot of stuff in depth on budgets, costing and analysis, and troubleshooting and invoicing, and various topics around reserved instances and their costs. Again, we can connect with AWS or Amazon Web Services if you need to. That's beyond the scope of this little training session. This training session is just designed to get you up and running with your first budget and alert in Azure. I'd like to thank you guys for viewing, and I really appreciate the support, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.